Good evening. Welcome to the Select Board meeting for Wednesday, March 4th, 2026. We'll call the meeting to order at 6:01 p.m. And just a reminder that this meeting is being broadcast live on BNC TV and live streamed on YouTube. To find BNC TV on YouTube, go to youtube.com and search for Bernardston-Northfield Community Television. This meeting will be available for later viewing by following the link at thetownofbernardston.org. You can also watch channel 1075 on your Comcast dial in Bernardston. So just for you folks to understand, we're going to jump around a little bit tonight just to make better use of some people's time. So Peter's coming later, so the first one we can do a little bit later.
Yeah.
So we're going to move all the way to page 3 under appointments. Aaron, come on up. With Elaine, come on up. This is Aaron Bernard from the Recreation Committee, and we do have a new employee, the Recreation Clerk, who we're introducing tonight, Elaine Ingram, and we'll make a vote on that after. But if you have anything to say or not, or if you do, feel free to.
We just wanted to introduce her. She just filled out the rest of her paperwork today. It goes by Lainey, right?
Yes.
Lainey,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to just introduce yourself a little bit.
I'm originally from Connecticut and I live in Brattleboro, Vermont right now. My former position was for the president and CEO at Brattleboro Memorial Hospital. And now I am here.
Good.
Yeah.
Very
Welcome.
happy to be here. Happy to meet you all.
As well.
Excited
Glad
to
to
have
have
her.
you.
Yeah,
Glad to have
very
you.
excited to have
Your
her.
background in recreation?
No.
No?
But I'm a quick learner.
Okay.
Yeah. She is the position of our clerk.
I see.
Yeah.
So you don't, not,
She's not going to be coaching any sports
Darn.
unless you have any
No.
expertise.
Right.
We are more than happy to.
My offer letter did say that I would be helping to line the soccer field.
Yes, that's true.
okay.
Looking
There you go.
forward to that.
Luckily, you
Okay.
don't need to know much about soccer to do that. But
And her and I are going to be, I'm going to be training her on where everything is, the budget, because we have the,
And
and
all the onboarding paperwork, all that good
yep,
stuff.
all that was done tonight. Yep.
Awesome. Good, cool. So
So you
that,
have big shoes to fill.
yeah.
Okay. I will do
Your
my best.
predecessor did a
On
superb
my honor, I
job.
promise to do my best.
We appreciate that. So given all that, I'd entertain a motion to appoint Elaine Ingram as the Recreation Clerk for the town of Bernardston, effective March 4th, 2026. This is a regular part-time, non-benefited position, not to exceed 19 hours a week, compensated at an hourly rate of $20, and reporting to the Recreation Commission.
So moved. Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Welcome aboard.
Well,
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Great.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Forward to
Thank you,
seeing you
Elaine.
around. I'm sure we'll
Thank
see you.
you.
yeah,
All right,
thank
I'll see you on Tuesday.
Alrighty,
All
take
right.
care.
Thanks, Aaron.
Yeah, thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
And
Short and
Thank
sweet. This is
you.
good.
yeah, next up, since they're here, Louise, come on up and we'll.
Come on up, everybody.
This is in regards to a citizens petition for the annual town meeting warrant. So we'll let you give us a little background for the listeners out there, and that is the microphone. He'll pick you up, or he'll give us a signal that we got to talk louder, or that should get you.
Thank you. So I prepared and proposed this warrant article for submission at the town meeting. I collected the signatures from, I think, 15 folks in town here. And they all seem very enthusiastic with this idea of endorsing an act establishing Medicare for all in Massachusetts. It's known as H1405 or S860. This legislation is currently pending in Massachusetts. It's not the first time it's been proposed. This bill that we can refer to for short as Mass Care has been in the works for some 30 years.
Yeah.
So I have asked my friends here, Judy Aikens and David Cohen, to join me tonight because they have been working on this for some 30 years.
Wow.
And there's no time like the present. We all are very well aware of the rising costs of healthcare and the difficulty that it represents in individuals' finances, but also in town budgets. In the town of Bernardston, with the help of Susan Bodie, the treasurer, we've established that going to a single payer health healthcare system for the town of Bernardston would represent a saving of close to $100,000, which is a significant chunk of change for this town. So that means that the town of Bernardston could afford to pay better salaries for employees, could retain services, could avoid raising taxes. So it would be significant beyond the savings in healthcare costs for the town. But of course, that only represents the 14 employees of the town. It doesn't represent the savings on a much bigger scale for all residents in Bernardston. So I'm here tonight to address any specific questions you have about this bill. Essentially, we strongly believe that Massachusetts has been at the leadership in terms of developing innovative healthcare cost system. We have Mass Health in Massachusetts, which has been taken up nationally as Obamacare. We know that's been jeopardized to some extent recently, and we know that it's very challenging for a number of Americans. There is no reason, in my view, that Massachusetts couldn't be at the leadership in innovating with a new type of healthcare delivery system, which there's about 20 towns, I think, so far in Massachusetts that have endorsed this bill. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit more about the kinds of savings we're looking at, but they're significant. They're in the millions of dollars.
Yeah, both Judy and I live in Greenfield,
Okay.
and I'm co-chair of MassCare, the sort of coalition that's been putting this bill in the legislature for 25 years now. But now we're seeing a real, upswell, and people are seriously considering it because of, when we went to Romney Care and said everyone should have health insurance in Massachusetts, but we've sort of reached the end of that road with the cost skyrocketing. And a lot of cities and towns hitting 20, 30% increases last year and breaking the budgets all over the place. So we're pretty confident. We just came out with a new economic study. Actually today did a presentation, the economist who did it, did a presentation in the State House over it. And we're hoping now the state, cross our fingers, is going to order, we've done a study, now they're going to hopefully order a study of it, which is a big step forward. They've always sort of ignored it, right? And you don't know whether it's because they get lots of contributions from insurance companies. And this would put in the insurance companies out of business in the healthcare field. So if you have any questions, I mean, things we're really looking at, why you could save so much money, you eliminate all that profit that the insurance companies make right now, which is billions of dollars. You look at just the administration, all the doctor's offices that wouldn't have to have 3 or 4 people trying to figure out what insurance company to bill. And we're written into the bill, we say they should act like the Veterans Administration, which uses its bargaining strength. They represent 9 million people. They bargain with the drug companies, and they get drug prices 45% lower than normal. Massachusetts would be the same size and could do the same thing. So we're looking at huge savings for drugs, because people always ask, how could we include in this plan free drugs? Well, that's a big point of it. If you bargain with the companies and said lower your prices, they will, because they're making huge profits off all those things. So that's what we're looking at. We're also looking at expanding healthcare to more services, more people. Since we come from out here, really looking at the rural areas that have been hit hard by hospital closures, maternity wards. And we know what it's like. I had to go to Springfield for cancer treatment. They go drive an hour every way, right? And I'd always say, well, why can't you treat me in Greenfield? Oh, no, it's not good to treat you there. Right? So, we're really looking at using some of the big savings we get for expanding healthcare, especially in areas where hospitals have shut down.
Right.
So if you have any questions.
I do have a couple.
Yeah.
Are you from Bernardston?
Yes.
Ah, okay, so that's why the citizen
Yes.
position.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any sense of how you're going to pay for this?
Yes.
So the pay will come, well, several ways, but, you know, you have all that savings, you know, that you have. But the payment system would be on employers, there would be a payroll tax of 7.5% or 8% for large employers. And employees would pay 2.5% payroll tax. And everywhere we've calculated that, like in Bernardston, you look at what you're spending now on health insurance versus the 7.5% payroll tax, you'd save $100,000. Employees, the economists calculate if you're earning less than $500,000 a year, you're going to see savings, all employees, because under this you won't have to pay for, you know, you pay the 2.5%. You won't have to pay co-pays, deductibles, or a share of the premium. You know, that's all covered.
Or out of pocket for things that are
Or
not
out of-
covered,
yeah,
like
out-of-pocket
hearing aids, you know,
expenses.
things like that, that
Yeah.
can end up being very costly too.
So our economists have done, you know, crunched the numbers, and as I say, the latest number, and it's interesting because the savings has gone down a little bit as you know, as costs are skyrocketing. The latest study they did, by eliminating all the unnecessary spending, and, you know, part of it would be to set the same prices for hospitals and doctors, which we're looking at Medicare plus 10%, which for hospitals which get mainly Medicaid funds, that's much lower. So let's see a big increase. The ones who will squawk are some of the hospitals in Boston, which right now are getting on average like Medicare plus 160%. Just because they're big and they've told the insurance companies, if you want us to recognize your insurance, pay us more. Whereas you look out here, hospitals are getting Medicare rates, or maybe Medicare and 10%. Good one. So we look at, the economists say, would save $54 billion right off the top. But in order to put more coverage in and cover more places, you'd use about 25 billion of that would go back into the system. So the total savings for the state would be about $30 billion, 29.87. When we had the study done 2 years ago, that total savings, the 30 billion, was up around 45 billion. But in the last couple of years, with the prices on everything skyrocketing, you know, it's cut into it, but we'd still be saving a lot of money.
So could I just add, in terms of the funding, another key component are the federally funded programs
Right.
like Medicare and Medicaid. So those funds would go into the Massachusetts Healthcare Trust along with the payroll taxes. So it would all be managed under this healthcare trust. So those would be the main key sources of revenue to pay for the system.
Do you know how much Medicare pays the doctors, the hospitals, the ambulance services? What percentage
Yeah.
currently?
So it's like, there's Medicare, and there's Mass Health, and then there's private pay or insurance.
I'm talking just Medicare,
Right.
because this
Yeah.
is a mass Medicare.
pay. Yeah, right.
We want everybody to be on
Yeah.
Medicare.
So I think the big payers are Medicare and Mass Health.
Do you know what percentage
Mm,
of the bill?
mm,
I do.
Yeah,
It's
you do?
34%.
Uh-huh,
So if you
Yeah.
go to the doctor, you're
right,
a senior, you're covered under Medicare,
right.
your bill is $100, your doctor gets $34 for that $100 service.
Right.
Uh-huh.
How is the doctor going to make up the difference if everybody only gets paid $34 for the $100 of service?
Well, so we're talking about Medicare plus 10%.
Call it 44%.
Yeah.
It still doesn't
Right.
pay the bills.
From the studies we have, it does, right? Because the percentage that people are getting from private insurance, you
You
know.
just said private insurance goes away.
Yeah, private, but I'm
That's
saying.
the only way
I'm
the
saying when
doctors
you
survive.
look at when you look at the mix of what a doctor's office has, you have Medicare patients, Medicaid patients, and then patients on private insurance. private insurance takes up about 30% of of the practice statewide, right? So, so when you look at, so they're losing a little bit of revenue, but it depends what they're getting reimbursed from the insurance companies. If they're getting reimbursed right now just the Medicare rates, they'll see more money coming in from the mass care plan.
And another aspect of that is of that $100, say, that the doctor needs to put out, maybe $50 has to do with administrative costs for managing the variety of different coverages and whatnot, and juggling and negotiating. And when that level of administrative burden disappears, their costs are lowered as well.
So everybody would be covered under the
Yeah.
mass care thing. So the private insurance goes away, but the amount of money is the same because everybody's covered under this system.
It doesn't pay the bills.
Well, it depends what bills we're looking at.
Yeah.
The cost of
The cost
offering
of
medical
administration is
services.
very high currently. That's
I wish that
correct.
were true. I wish they were paying the poor clerk in the front office
Yeah.
as much as you think they're paying.
Well,
But when you look at the bills, so I look at my bills from Bay State Health, right? And it always says, if I had to pay it myself, I would have to pay $116, right? But what they reimburse the doctor is $36.
There's your
right?
34%. Okay.
Right. But the doctor's surviving on that.
Yeah.
yeah, they're not
Right.
really,
The doctor is surviving under private insurance.
No.
not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
If the private
Negotiations.
insurance went away, that's what, because the private insurance pays the 134, or whatever it was.
No, they don't pay it.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, you can look at, if you have private insurance, it's the same way. They bill a certain amount and the private insurance pays less.
Yeah, the whole system is based on this constant system of negotiations and uncertainty. So the patients never know exactly how much they're going to get covered, and the doctors have to negotiate with the insurances, and there's a great deal of administrative costs involved. And what we're proposing instead is to simplify the system so that we can cut out the uncertainty, cut out the expensive administration negotiation, and cut out the extensive, deep profits that benefit a couple of industries and not the healthcare system. So the healthcare system shouldn't be really focused on profit making. It's not really what it should be there for.
Earlier in the conversation, you talked about hospitals closing. Do you know why they closed?
Well, there's a lot
They
of reasons.
couldn't pay their bills.
Well, there's more than one reason. There's definitely a
Yeah.
great number of reasons, and we need to definitely have a more sustainable healthcare cost. It is not currently sustainable. I think we are all in agreement around that.
I mean, if you look at the recent round of hospital closings, Stewart Healthcare, right, which owned 10 hospitals in the Eastern Mass area, and they went bankrupt, right? But, what were they doing? They were paying huge salaries. They were taking money out of the hospital systems, investing in other things in Greece. They tried to set up an insurance company in Greece, right? And they drove themselves into bankruptcy. They were a private equity firm that bought the hospitals. And as a result, out of those 10 hospitals, 4 of them shut down completely. But it wasn't they couldn't pay their bills. They had set up a system where they sold their land and their buildings to a holding company that they created, right? And then that holding company started charging them exorbitant rents. Far beyond what the market value you would think. And then, since they're investing all their other money overseas, they went bankrupt. Right now, the state has taken over a couple of those hospitals, right? And then
You know who's paying for that?
we are.
Bingo.
But the problem is,
It's a net sum zero. You
but
can't.
if we didn't allow a private equity company which just sucks the profits out of the business to take them over, you wouldn't have had that problem, right? That's.
I wonder if any studies have been done on, and this is Massachusetts specific question, if any studies have been done if Massachusetts deregulated, meaning there are only a certain number of insurance companies that can do business in Massachusetts. Why not let them all? Wouldn't competition is the driving force of all of that, right? So I say to you, I can do business in Mass, I can give you this piece of paper for $25, right? Now all of a sudden it's deregulated. He comes along, he's from New Hampshire, and goes, nah, it's $15. Has there been a study on deregulating insurance?
Not that I've seen, but I guess I would answer that there is plenty of competition in Massachusetts on health insurance.
I'm not suggesting, I'm not
Right, I mean,
suggesting there
doctors
isn't.
that deal with
Of course.
50 or more
Yeah.
insurance companies.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. So back years ago, we had some local businesses that a lot of people swore were in cahoots with each other, which is why you had to pay a certain amount of money for their product. And they were all roughly the same price. One month, this guy was a little cheaper because he needed to make some money, but the next month, the next guy was, and so on and so on. They were all in cahoots with each other. Do I believe that insurance companies are doing that? Probably to some certain extent, absolutely. The ones that are allowed to do business in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
The ones that are not allowed to do business, within the last few years, you could get, what are some of the some of the auto insurance? Because they started deregulating, and all of a sudden
Right.
people are getting Geico and General and all these things because they were cheaper than the insurance
Right.
companies that could do business in Massachusetts. Now a lot more can.
Right.
So my question was more geared towards, do you know if there was anything?
No, I've never seen a study like that. You know, I would say that what's driving the insurance companies right now, and the ones that are offering cheaper prices, are they're putting higher deductibles, right, more co-pays. I used to negotiate for a union. So I remember 25 years ago, you'd have an insurance plan that was paid everything, right? And it wasn't that expensive. You can't find, they don't even offer those anymore, right? Everything has, and I was looking at the GIC plan that the state runs. Every plan had a $10,000 deductible for a family plan. And the employees had to pay $800 a month. And I'm looking at this and saying, that's insane, right? That we would have considered that to be a horrible insurance plan 20 years ago. And now that's par for the course. But I think that's how insurance companies are, some are getting cheaper. I mean, I had the experience, and you can't prove collusion, but I take a drug, you know, and it's a generic drug. And last year, my health insurance company said, oh, it's a brand name drug you're taking, so you have to pay a $300 deductible. I said, wait, it's generic. And went through the appeal process and said, it's a generic drug, but its brand name is generic drug. So, right? So then I started, I got mad, so I started calling all the other insurance companies. Said, I want to switch to your drug plan. I found one that said, oh yeah, we cover that drug, no problem. I said, so how much will it cost me? They said, $300. I said, why? I said, well, it's a brand name drug. I said, no, it's not. You know, and they had the exact same line.
Yeah.
You know, and so at that point I said, okay. Now they all of a sudden now this common drug that used to be generic now is brand name generic.
Yeah.
So I want to add a little bit to respond to your question. I don't know of any study, but I think that from my experience and my training that when you include new players on the market, you might see some temporary changes, just like when you outsource.
Yeah.
You know, you find an outsource, somebody who will give you a really good price, so you outsource your services, and then once they're outsourced, guess what? They go right back up.
Right.
And we see that over and over and over again. It's very attractive, but it's temporary. And we can regale you here for hours of stories. I had an eye medication that was delivered in a very uncomfortable cream form, and it was only $10 copay. And they came up with a drop form. Yay, all of a sudden it was $170. Exact same drug in a different delivery system.
Right.
And because it was more convenient, I had to pay exponentially for it.
Okay.
So we know there's a lot of fat in the drug business and the insurance business, and do we want to keep providing it, or do we want to find more innovative ways to have a sustainable healthcare cost for all? And so what we're proposing, we're not alone. There's an extremely
Oh,
long
yeah.
list
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
legislators
Right. Yeah.
who are behind this at this point. So it's not anything
Yeah.
new, and it's not
Right.
anything that we're sticking our necks out on. It's really very well established and very popular right now. Like I said, I was astonished at how fast I could collect signatures
Yeah.
here from
Yeah, right.
different folks, really different folks here in town. And
I think one of the things, it's based on, we look at the experience of the VA and what they can do with bargaining for drugs. You look at Medicare, which has administrative costs of 2%. Now, we're all I'm on Medicaid, you're all a little unhappy, it could be much better, right? But they've got it down so the administrative costs to pay, millions of people in the country, 2%, where, insurance companies are charging 10% for that same sort of administrative thing. And we also have written into the legislation that there'd be a fraud division to really look at, going after the waste that exists, because there is,
Yep. So
Just
just to
double
pull it all back together for the citizen petition, it looks like you have submitted it correctly. It will go to town council just because they have to vet every one of them anyway.
sure.
If something pops with that, Karen will let you know that something doesn't match up legally to do it, but it looks like based on the format that was provided, that's basically just filled in the blanks, right? It's probably gonna be okay. I would suggest that at town meeting, if people have questions, we may not be the ones to be able to answer them.
Sure.
If you wanted to provide a handout at town meeting, that's pretty common in citizen
Yeah.
petitions.
Yep.
As people walk in, they grab it as part of the
Yeah.
packet.
Yep.
There will be a limited amount of discussion allowed by the moderator. That won't have anything to do with us during the town meeting.
right.
But the moderator will control that. If everybody's asking the same question over and over again, you'll cut it off.
Sure.
Right,
But that's just to keep the meeting moving.
yeah.
So I think unless anybody has any other questions here, I mean,
That's.
great you did it. You got the signatures. It was all vetted.
And I
We'll go
didn't
to
know if you
town
needed
council.
us to present something at town meeting, or if you.
I think it might draw questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Prepared
this
to
little,
answer
this little
questions.
handout.
Yeah.
Okay, so we will have this same handout we gave you
Yeah.
tonight.
And then the handouts would come to me prior to town meeting, so we
Yeah.
get them at the
Part of the
table.
packet,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we'll
Yeah.
coordinate that.
Jane,
Yes, the town moderator always asks on petitions like this, who wants to speak to it?
Yep.
Okay,
And that would give you or whoever you
Right.
want to speak
sure.
the opportunity to make a presentation. 5 minutes?
Yeah, he'll try to keep
I
it
can't remember
short and
what he
sweet.
says for time limit, but
I
I
mean,
know
we
he
know you'll be
always
doing the
asks.
budget, right?
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
so,
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the primary article sponsor, so you would be the one
Yes,
to do that.
yep, I'm happy
And
to
as
do
the
that.
resident of the town as well.
I'm happy to do that. Would you like me to do that? Should I plan on doing a
Plan
5-minute
on
presentation?
doing-
Okay.
I would plan on
It's gonna be up to the moderator whether he
Yeah.
allows you or not, but I'd be shocked
Okay.
if he didn't let you.
And I also wanted to mention that I did transmit to Karen the link for the full bill if any
Okay.
of you are interested in reading the details of how everything would be administered and that sort of thing.
Perfect.
Perfect, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you
all.
for
thank you
your
very
time.
much.
Yeah,
Appreciate
absolutely,
it.
thank you.
Listening to us.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We'll be in touch.
problem.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
Okay, we'll pull back in. We'll come back to the
Very beginning.
very beginning here. And this was a little out of order tonight because we were trying to get the caucus approved so Pete could go get it posted
Yep.
to meet our deadline, so we'll walk through that right now. So I'd entertain a motion to approve and post the town caucus warrant for Thursday, March 12th at 7 p.m. at the Bernardston Senior Center, 20 Church Street. The town caucus was originally scheduled for Tuesday, March 3rd, and had to be postponed because of inclement weather. That was last night. The town caucus warrant reads as follows. Since we never did read it on the air, we approved it at a special meeting. To either the constables of the town of Bernardston in the county of Franklin, greetings pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 53, Section 121 of the Massachusetts General Laws as adopted by the voters of the town of Bernardston. The inhabitants of said town qualified to vote in town affairs and elections are hereby notified and warned that a nonpartisan town caucus will be conducted at the Bernardston Senior Center, 20 Church Street, on Thursday, March 12th in the year 2026, beginning at 7 p.m. Said caucus is to be conducted for the purpose of nomination wholly on one ballot of candidates for all town offices to be elected at the annual town election, which is Monday, May 4th, 2026. The following positions will be available or will be open for nominations: Board of Assessors, 1 3-year term; Board of Health, 1 3-year term; a second 3-year term, which has 2 years remaining on the term; Constable, 1 3-year term; Cushman Library Trust, 4 3-year terms. One is a full 3-year term, with 2 years remaining in that term. Am I reading that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moderator, 1 3-year term. Powers Institute trustee, 4 3-year terms, 1 3-year term with 2 years remaining in the term. The Recreation Commission, 2 3-year terms, 1 3-year term, 1 year remaining in the term. Select Board, 1 3-year term. The caucus shall be called to order by the town clerk and shall close at the time specifically by vote of the caucus. This notice shall be posted at least 7 days before the time of the holding said meeting at the 5 places within the town listed: Bernardston Town Hall, 38 Church Street; Bernardston Post Office, 9 Center Street; Marshall's Store, 44 Church Street; Bernardston Senior Center, 20 Church Street. And it will also be at www.townofbernardston.org, which is the town's website. Given under our hands this 4th day of March, 2026. So take a motion for that.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's really the 4th because it's the day we signed.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry
Yep.
about that.
That was a correction we went back and made to the document.
Gotcha. All right. So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
We'll move on to the warrants for tonight. I would entertain a motion for the payroll warrant in the amount of $64,807.56.
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
I would entertain a motion for the vendor warrant in the amount of $39,219.34.
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
I would entertain a motion for the regular meeting minutes of February 18th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And I abstained because I wasn't at that meeting. Calendar and announcements. The planning board will meet on Thursday, March 5th at 4 p.m. at the town hall. The finance committee and select board will hold joint meetings on Mondays, March 9th and March 14th at
Those-
5.
They both can't be Mondays.
This is a good
The
point.
9th is correct. And it should be
The 9th and the 16th.
Oh,
16.
thank you.
Thank you. So let me start that again. The Finance Committee and Select Board will hold joint meetings on Mondays, March 9th and Monday, March 16th at 5:30 p.m. at the Bernardston Fire Station Conference Room. Just a side note to that, those are all public meetings. Anybody who wants to attend to see what's going on, please come.
And the following 2 Mondays will also be meeting.
And if you do come, make sure you park properly,
In the back, don't lock the bay door.
because the fire department could have an
And
event.
if there's snow on the roof, don't park under the, next to the carport.
There you go.
Unless you don't mind taking a chance that the snow is still on there.
Ka-thump.
It's true. Next up, the Cushman Library Play and Learn program will continue through spring 2026 on Wednesdays from 10:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. at Cushman Library. The program is a family-friendly gathering designed for young children and their caregivers. The program offers play-based learning, story time with Miss Ruby, caregiver connections, and a welcoming environment. We hope to see you there.
It is very well attended, judging by all the cars that are
Yeah,
parked
looks like
outside. So it's certainly an event. If you have kids that age, absolutely something to do.
For sure. The Council on Aging meeting will hold their monthly meeting on Tuesday, March 10th at 9:30 a.m. at the Senior Center. The Pioneer Valley Regional School District School Committee will hold their monthly meeting on Thursday, March 12th at 6 p.m. at the Pioneer Valley Regional School Library. All incoming kindergarten families are invited to attend Bernardston Elementary School Kindergarten Registration Night on Tuesday, March 17th from 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. at the Bernardston Elementary School Main Hall. Parents will be able to pick up and complete the registration paperwork on site, visit the kindergarten classroom and meet the teacher. Students must be 5 years old before September 1st, 2026. Parents and/or guardians must bring the following documents to register your child: the child's birth certificate, parent or guardian's photo ID, proof of residency, 2 forms required, such as mortgage statements, rental lease agreements, and a utility bill. The Franklin County Sheriff's Office Animal Control will hold their dog shelter annual meeting on Wednesday, March 11th at 6 p.m. at the Community Justice Support Center, 106 Main Street in Greenfield. The next 2 we did under new business. The roadway condition on Route 5, Brattleboro Road. As many residents have noticed, there are significant potholes and pavement deterioration along the approximately 5.9 mile stretch of Route 5 that runs through Bernardston. This is a challenging time of year for roadways across the region due to freeze-thaw cycles, and we fully understand that these conditions are common in late winter. However, the level of damage on this section of Route 5 has become severe enough that it poses a risk of vehicle damage and raises public safety concerns. In response, the Select Board has taken formal action and has prepared a letter for submission to Mass DOT District 2 requesting immediate evaluation and repairs. We want residents to know that the Select Board has prepared a letter to Mass DOT advocating for attention to this issue and will continue to follow up with Mass DOT until the roadway is addressed. We appreciate everyone's patience and caution while traveling through this area. And just a side note with that one, any residents of the community, if you reach out to Karen at Town Hall, she can give you the address to email and/or call Mass DOT to register a complaint, where our understanding is the more feedback they get from residents, the quicker they respond to certain issues around town. Is that a true statement?
That
Yes.
is a true statement. So we encourage
Yes.
residents, particularly along Brattleboro Road, Route 5, but the whole length of it, and those people that use that road, to contact town administrator. She has an 800 number you can call, or the address to contact the DOT and register your concerns and complaints. The more voices they hear from, the better the chance is that they will respond quicker. Other towns will get the money otherwise. They'll get the new tar. It's a very dangerous situation.
Yes. Okay. Next up, employee time off request. Entertain a motion to approve an employee time off request. Had a tough time tonight.
That was a tough one. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We also have a BES building use application. I would entertain a motion to approve the Bernardston Elementary School building use application for the BES PTO on March 28th, 2026, from 9 to 4 for the annual Scholastic Book Fair.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Old
The
business.
principal has signed off on that,
Yes, correct.
so she's in the loop too.
Old business, letter of resignation, town administrator. This is making it formal now, huh?
That's right.
I would entertain a motion to accept the letter of resignation from Karen Kelly, town administrator, effective April 30th, 2026.
Regrettably moved.
Second.
Any other discussion? Just to say Karen's been more than gracious. She's
Yeah,
given us
absolutely.
a ton of notice. We're working through the process. We very much appreciate the time you gave us to make this happen.
For sure.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 So next up, we're going to go into executive session. Does anybody have anything to bring up in open session before we go into executive session?
Just to acknowledge again the highway department's
Sure.
efforts. This has been one heck of a winter, and they have done just a terrific job with the roads, clearing them, making them safe for us to use them. So kudos to them.
For sure.
And they,
Go ahead.
we just got a warning for tomorrow.
Right.
I
And
know.
More junk coming tomorrow.
Tomorrow night.
Do you have anything you want to add?
I do.
Jane, do you have anything to bring up before we go to executive session?
Don't think so.
Come to the finance committee,
Yes.
select board meeting on Monday
Monday
night.
night, 5:30.
See how it works.
5:30, yes.
The new fire station.
We can't cancel any more finance committee meetings.
No.
So if it's a nasty night, we.
Too bad. Suck it up.
Yep.
Get your snowshoes out.
Get your snowshoes out, make sure you bring.
I got a
flashlight.
snowmobile. I'll be glad to transport
Pumpkin.
people.
Bring your
Yeah.
sleeping bag in case you can't get back home.
Okay, so I'd entertain a motion to enter into executive session pursuant to Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21, Paragraph A, Line 1. The purpose of this executive session is to conduct a strategy session in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel. I also declare that the Select Board will not reconvene in open session following the executive session.
So moved.
And I'll take that roll call vote and invite
Second,
Karen
by the
Kelly
way.
within that meeting. You okay with Karen coming?
Yes, absolutely.
And, okay, so formal roll call vote.
Brian Hervey, aye.
Ken Borderweek, aye.
Brian Kier, aye. Okay, thank you, everybody.
You're welcome.
Make